Alright, so the point of this question is given an angle like 4.8 radians, can we figure out how big its reference angle would be? And to keep the difference between those, the original angle I'll call theta, and the reference angle I will call theta prime. That'll look a little bit better. Okay, so it wants us to figure out how big that is, and then part 2 it says to sketch. You probably want to do those in the opposite order. You probably want to sketch it first, and then with the sketch it makes it a little bit easier to see how big the reference angle should be. Okay, so 4.8 radians. What does 4.8 radians look like? Well, this is 0 radians. This is pi over 2. But this isn't written in terms of pi, and most of the angles we memorize here are in terms of pi. So in my calculator, pi over 2 is about 1.571. Okay, this is pi, which I know is about 3.14. This is 3 pi over 2, which is about 4.71, and I know that from my calculator. But the point is that 4.8 is just a little bit bigger. So if I start in standard position, I need to go a little bit bigger than 3 pi over 2. So if I did all of this term here, that would be the original angle theta. Okay, but if I took this point and I draw it either up or down to hit the x-axis, it gives me a right triangle. And now, so here's my right triangle, and to make this a little bit easier to see, I'm going to blow this up a bit. I've got this, this, and this. Okay, so the original angle theta is out here, but this small angle near the origin, this is theta prime. Okay, so that is, I don't know, maybe I'll still sketch. From here to here is 4.8 radians. So there's the answer to part 2. I sketched the reference triangle, I sketched the reference angle, theta prime. Back to part 1, how big is this angle? Well, now that I've got some of this stuff in here, I have something to compare it to. I know this much is pi, so I could say pi plus this is what I don't want, and that doesn't seem too useful. Another thing I know though is I do know all the way around is 2 pi, and the amount that I want to take away, is I don't want all of this. And the good thing about this is I know how much all of that is. It's 4.8 radians. So if I took all the way around 2 pi, subtracted this much that I didn't want, which is 4.8, then what would be left over would be this, and that is what I want. So I guess if the directions say round, you go ahead and type it in your calculator. Directions didn't say anything about rounding though, so I would just leave it like that. That's exact answer, and I don't have to take time to round it and make it less accurate. So just to review there, I took a length that I did know, or a measurement I did know, like all the way around was 2 pi, and I subtracted how much I didn't want to leave how much I did want.